For 2.2, we're going to do systems of linear inequalities instead of just equations. Okay, so this is where if you want to get 2 colors out, or maybe even 3 colors out, I would do that now. Okay, so for the first 2 questions, it gives us a system of 3 inequalities, and it wants to know if the ordered pair that I give you is a solution to the system. Okay, so for it to be a solution, it has to be true for all the functions or equations or inequalities in the system. So if I have 2 equations or 2 inequalities, it's got to be true for both. If I have 3, it's got to be true for all 3. Okay? So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my calculator instead of plugging it in by hand. Okay? I know my ordered pairs are always x, y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 0 and store it for x. We should all know how to do that. Number store for x. Okay? Then I'm going to take 0 and store, now that X button, if you hit it twice, it changes to a Y. So you're going to hit it twice, press enter. So there's my XY. Okay, did we all follow that? Okay. So then what I'm going to do, which realistically here I didn't need to do my Y, I'm going to really do my left, because what's happening is if I plug in a 0 here, I've got 0 is less than or equal to, and then I'm going to type my 2x plus 3. And that's 3. And then I'm going to see, is that true? Is 0 less than or equal to 3? Yes, that's true, so I'm good for the first one. I move on to the second one. Okay, so now my y is still 0, greater than, now I'm going to type my 4x minus 2. That gives me negative 2. Is 0 greater than negative 2? Yeah, so I'm good with the second one. So now I'm going to check 0 is less than x minus 2 gives me negative 2. Is 0 less than negative 2? No. So it's not a solution. Justifying your answer, as long as you show me this, I will accept that. Okay? As long as you show me what those values are, you can put a check for when it's true and X when it's not true. I'm good with that. You don't have to write me a paragraph. Okay? Now, we're going to do negative 1 for X, 1 for Y. We don't really have to store Y because we see that all of these are going to be 1. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. Okay, so I'm going to take negative 1, store for X. Now I can type in negative 2x plus 3. Is 1 less than 5? Yes. Y'all see what I'm doing? Some of y'all look confused. Do we know what we're doing? Just plugging it in, seeing if it's true. Okay? So then x plus 2 is 1. Is 1 greater than or equal to 1? Yes. Now, what if it would have just been greater than? Is 1 greater than 1? No. Okay. So now I have 6x minus 8, and I get negative 14. Is 1 greater than negative 14? Yes. So it is a solution. You will have that on your worksheet, so make sure you know how to do that. Okay? Now, when we're solving by graphing inequalities, you still want everything y equals mx plus b, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to graph one of the lines, and then you're going to shade it. Then you're going to graph the second line, and you're going to shade it, okay? There are tricks to shading to where you don't have to do a test point, okay? Usually we teach there's a test point, but most of the time we do the trick, okay? So, know that there is a difference for your lines depending if it's equal to or not, okay? If it is not equal to, you're going to have a dashed line. Hopefully you remember this from Algebra 1. If it is equal to, so less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you're going to have a solid line. Okay, so what I say, if you have a line underneath your inequality, you have a line on your graph. Otherwise, it's dashed. Okay? Now, shading. If it is less than or equal to, you're going to shade below your line. Okay, you're going to have a boundary line, you're going to shade below it. If it is greater than or equal to, you're going to shade above. Okay, now what if you have vertical lines? You don't have an above and below, you have a left and right. Okay, so if I had a vertical line, if it's less than or equal to, I shade to the left. If it's greater than or equal to, I'm going to shade to the right. Okay, so that's just a visual representation for your verticals. Alright, so this is where I do my colors so I can see, because what we're looking at is where the shaded regions overlap. Okay, your shaded region is all the possible true solutions for that one inequality. So if we're doing a system, we want to know where they overlap, and that's going to be true for both. Okay, so this first one, I always put the color next to it. You don't have to do that. I just do that in my notes so you see which line matches that inequality. Okay, so I have y is greater than negative 2x minus 5. That y is by itself, so I can identify my slope is a negative 2. My y-intercept is negative 5. Okay, so I'm going to start at negative 5. And it's a negative 2, so where am I going to go? Down 2 to the right one. Okay, before I draw my line, I need to decide, is it dashed or solid? It's going to be dashed. Be careful if you're doing this in pen. Make sure you look at that. Now sometimes if the line is really steep, it's hard to tell what's above and what's below. Okay, so if you start at your y-intercept, it's greater than, so am I going to shade above or below? Above. So that means you're going to take your pen, if it's on the y-intercept, you're going to go above. So this whole area, don't shade it crazy, just do it lightly, so you can still see the rest of your graph. Okay, do we have questions on how I did that? Okay. You could use highlighters too if you don't have pens. So now I'm going to do the next one. Y is less than or equal to x plus 3, so my slope is 1 and my y-intercept is 3. So I start at 3 and I go up 1 to the right 1. Is that line going to be dashed or solid? Solid, because it's equal to. Then I'm going to go back to that y-intercept. my inequality is less than. So am I going to shade above or below? Below. So I bring my pen down, and it is everything below that orange line. Okay. Now do you see where the shades overlapped? So this right area, I'm going to shade darker, or you can draw an arrow and put solution area. Okay? I need to know, where is your solution region? It's where the two overlap. You can highlight it, you can make it darker, you can draw an arrow, as long as you tell me where it is. Okay? Questions on that? Okay. Okay, now we still have absolute value. So, I'm still going to do my table. What's my vertex going to be for my table? -4, 0. I don't have a fraction, so I don't have to skip. I can just put my -5, -6, -3, -2. I'm going to plug in the values. So I've got the absolute value of -6 plus 4, which is going to give me 2. Absolute value of -5 plus 4 is going to give me 1. And then -3 would give me 1, and -2 would give me 2. Now, is that going to be a dashed or solid absolute value graph? Okay, it doesn't have an equal, so it's going to be dashed. Okay, so now instead of a y-intercept, I'm going to start at that vertex. Okay, so absolute value, you start at vertex. It's greater than, so am I going to go above or below? Greater than is above. So from the vertex, I'm going to go up. So it's going to be inside that absolute value. Y'all good with that? So y is less than or equal to 3. What type of line is that?
Solid.
That's a solid line. Is that going to be diagonal, vertical, horizontal? It's horizontal. Okay, do not make that a diagonal line with a y-intercept of 0. That's not accurate. Okay, this is just a horizontal line passing through 3. It's less than, so that's shaded where? Below. So that small little triangle that was formed is my overlap shaded region. All right, example 3, y is greater than 2/3 x plus 2. My slope is 2/3, and my y-intercept is 2. So I'm going to go up 2 to the right 3. Dashed or solid? Once I make that line, I go back to my y-intercept. Greater than, am I going to go up or down? Greater than is above, so up. Then y is less than or equal to negative, I'm not negative, 2/3 x minus 1. So slope is 2/3, y-intercept is -1. Go up 2 to the right 3. Dashed or solid? Okay, less than, am I going to go above or below? Below, so I go to that y-intercept and I go down, so below that line. Do I have an overlap shaded region? No, so what would I put? No solution. So if it does not overlap, make sure you notate it's no solution. And now we have a systems of 3, which is fine. You just do 3 different graphs. So x is less than or equal to 2. That means my line crosses 2 on my x-axis. So that's going to be a vertical line. Is it dashed or solid? Less than, am I going to go left or right? Y is less than or equal to -1. That's going to be a horizontal line. Dashed or solid? And less than is shaded below. Now this next one I have a -y. What do I have to do with that? I divide everything by -1. When I divide everything by -1, what do I have to do? Flip that inequality symbol. So it's now y is less than -2x minus 4. So my slope is -2. My y-intercept is -4. So I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1. Dashed or solid? Dash. Go to that y-intercept. It's less than, so I'm going to shade below. So if you use really dark colors, it's going to be hard to see where your boundaries are. Okay? So this little left area, but don't forget it cuts off at that vertical line. It doesn't go all the way over here. That's my solution area. We good? So example 5, we've got y is greater than or equal to -4. So that's going to be another horizontal line passing through -4 on the y-axis. Dashed or solid? Above or below? Above because it's greater than. Now I have x plus y is less than 2. I need to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract my x. Y is less than -x plus 2. I'm good there. My slope is -1. My y-intercept is 2. So I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1. Dash or solid? I go back to my y-intercept. Am I going to shade above or below? Below because it's less than. And then my third one, my slope is 2. My y-intercept is -2. Up 2 to the right 1. Dash or solid? Dash. Go back to your y-intercept. Am I shading above or below? Below. So your overlapped region is this little triangle in the middle. If you have a hard time seeing where it's overlapped, you could do different directions. So you could do up and then sideways and then diagonal if that helps you. Okay. 2x plus 3y is less than 6. I need to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 2x. 3y is less than -2x plus 6. Then divide everything by 3. Y is less than -2/3 x plus 2. My slope is -2/3. My y-intercept is 2. So I'm going to go down 2 to the right 3. Dashed or solid? Am I going to shade above or below? Below. So my next one, I've got negative 2/3 x plus 4. So I'm going to start at 4. I'm going down 2 to the right 3. And this time, this line is solid. Shaded where? My last one, I need to add my 2x. Y is less than 2x minus 2. My slope is 2. My y-intercept is negative 2. So I'm going to go up 2 to the right 1. This one's going to be dashed. It's less than, so am I going to shade above or below? Below. Okay. Now I had 2 areas that 2 overlapped, but I have 3 inequalities, so I would need where all 3 overlap. Do I have that? No, so this is no solution. Now remember, if you miss something in the notes, I always have my copy of the notes that I'll upload in the Google Slides. Okay. All right, we're done with graphing. Okay, now, what if I give you the graph, and we have to come up with the equations? Okay. So what you need to look at is how many lines do you have? Okay. Do not get confused with your x and y axis. If you need to highlight your x and your y-axis so you don't get confused with that, whatever you need to do so you do not include that. Okay, I have a diagonal line, I have a vertical line, and I have a horizontal line. So I'm going to have to come up with a system of 3. Which is totally fine. Okay, I like to number them. You do not have to. Okay. What do I need for a diagonal line? I need 2 things. What do I identify every single time? Slope and y-intercept. So that's what you're going to look for to go backwards and create the line. I need to know what is my slope and what is my y-intercept. Okay, well the y-intercept is easy. My y-intercept is right here. What is that? 1. Now you need to look at that graph and what's happening. I'm going down, so I know my slope should be negative. I'm going down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1. So what's my slope? Negative 1. So my first inequality, I know it's going to be y. Now I got to figure out what's my inequality. So what I do is I look at this line and I look at the area of the shaded region. Is that shaded region above or below that line? Above. So would that be greater than or less than? Greater than. It's dashed, so I know it's not equal to. And then I do my mx, so negative 1x plus b plus 1. Okay. Now for the second one, it's a vertical line. So what do I know that's going to be? It's going to be x. Now, is the shaded region to the left or to the right of that vertical line? Left. So left less. Dash, so it's not equal to. What number am I putting? 4. Crosses the x-axis at 4. Okay, my third one is horizontal, so I know that's going to be y. The shaded region is above or below? Above, so that's going to be greater than or equal to because it's solid. Good job. And then what number am I going to put there? Very good. Okay, on the next one, I'm going to just highlight my x and y axis so I don't get confused. You don't have to if you can see separately. Okay, you can, if you number them, you can number them in whatever order. I typically just go clockwise. So my first equation or inequality I'm going to come with is the vertical. So I know vertical is x. Is the shaded region to the left or the right? Left, so that's going to be less than. X is less than what? 2. Okay, my second one is diagonal, so I need my slope and my y-intercept. Where's my y-intercept? 0. What's my slope? It's going up 1 to the right 2, so that's 1/2. So I'm going to have y. Now if I'm looking at this line, is my shaded region above or below? So it's going to be y is less than 1/2 x. I don't need the plus 0. Okay, my third one, I need my slope and my y-intercept. What's my y-intercept? -2. And this time, what's my slope? Goes down 1 to the right 2, so -1/2. So I'm going to have y. What's my inequality symbol going to be? Greater than -1/2 x minus 2. We good with that? Okay. Any questions on either 2.1 or 2.2? So you will have a quiz over this next class.